My scam artist brother mocked my infertility during Thanksgiving dinner and I left in silence. 2 days later, I exposed his fake startup and $26,000 gambling scheme. I'd spent 2 months planning something special, not flashy or dramatic, just something meaningful. Thanksgiving was always a big deal in our family. My Aunt Meredith and Uncle Joe had hosted it for as long as I could remember. Long wooden tables stretched out in their Connecticut farmhouse, mismatched chairs, pies cooling on the window ledge, and at least 20 of us, squeezed elbow to elbow. The chaos used to comfort me. This year, I wanted to give back. At 35, I've built a life I never thought possible. I'm the founder of a fertility tech startup called Fertisense, and after closing our Series B funding, I finally felt ready to give my family something more than just holiday cards and Amazon gift lists. My plan was simple. At the end of dinner, during the toasts, I would hand each adult in my family an envelope. Inside, a letter explaining my new private investment fund, designed to support family-led small business ideas, and a check for $10,000. No strings, no expectations, just trust, just thanks. That morning, I had everything ready. The letters were printed on thick cream stock, each one personalized. I even wrapped the envelopes in gold silk ribbon and packed them in a soft leather folio. I kept imagining their faces, my parents, my cousins, Rachel, my little sister, who was already brainstorming an eco-retail startup. I knew this would mean the world to her. The only person I wasn't looking forward to seeing was my older brother Jason. He's 38, the kind of man who always felt like he was born to lead despite never holding a job longer than 6 months. But I convinced myself it would be fine. I'd dealt with Jason my whole life. He'd always been arrogant, defensive, snarky, especially toward me, but he'd never crossed a line in front of everyone, not publicly, until this year. When my husband David and I arrived, the house was buzzing, laughter from the backyard, wine being poured, and the unmistakable screech of my cousin Aaron's toddler running across hardwood in socks. David, 36, had his hand in mine as we stepped inside. He runs a nonprofit that supports STEM education for underprivileged youth, kind, even-tempered, calm, and chaos. Basically my anchor. I kissed Aunt Meredith on the cheek. This smells amazing. Wait till you try the bourbon pecan pie, she winked. Jason was already there, of course, parked at the kitchen island like he owned it. He wore a navy blazer that still had the price tag barely tucked under the collar. Haley, his girlfriend, hovered beside him in a beige matching set that looked straight off Instagram. Look who decided to join us, Jason said as soon as he saw me. The prodigal uterus returns. I froze for half a second, forced a smile. Hi Jason, David's hand found the small of my back. Hey Claire, Haley chimed in, sipping from a champagne flute. You look so successful. She gave the kind of smile that felt like it came with teeth. I gave them a tight nod and turned to greet my cousins. The first few hours passed with the usual small talk. I helped Meredith finish the sweet potatoes, chatted with my Uncle Joe about his renovation plans, and caught up with Rachel, who told me her boss had finally retired. Jason's voice drifted in and out of the kitchen, laughing too loudly, telling Haley some story about the time he almost got hired at Apple, exaggerating as usual. I ignored it. Or tried to. It wasn't until dinner, when we'd all gathered, plates loaded and wine glasses refilled, that things started to shift. Meredith stood at the head of the table and raised a toast, thanking everyone for being together again. The room applauded, warm and loud. Someone clinked their fork on a glass. David turned to me and whispered, "You okay?" I nodded. Slipped a hand into my purse, felt the weight of the leather folio beneath the table. I was going to wait until dessert, but Jason never could let a spotlight pass. I'd like to say something, he announced, standing with his glass. My stomach tightened. He raised his eyebrows at me. Claire, this one's for you. Oh no, just wanted to say we're all super proud of your success with his, what is it again? Helping women get pregnant with artificial intelligence? That's amazing. He paused dramatically. Someone's gotta help them, right? He grinned. Since you clearly can't. It felt like the air vanished. Every plate stopped moving. My fork hovered mid-air. I heard someone cough. Haley giggled, just once, quick and sharp, then looked down, and then, as if to seal it, "At least you saved money on kids. No diapers, no college, just profit, huh?" I didn't say a word. I didn't look at anyone. I just placed my napkin on the table, stood up slowly and picked up my bag. Claire, Rachel started, but I shook my head. David stood too. He didn't say anything either. He didn't need to. We walked out the door into the quiet evening air. I heard the screen door creak behind us. Someone calling my name, but I didn't turn around. In the car, David started to speak, but I stopped him with a glance. I pulled the folio from my bag, ran my hand over the ribbons once, then placed it on the passenger seat. I was going to change their lives tonight, I said, then I buckled my seatbelt, leaned back, and closed my eyes. The next morning, I woke up still fully dressed. David had thrown a blanket over me sometime in the night and left a glass of water on the side table. I sat up slowly, the memories of last night sinking back in one by one, like ice in a warm drink. Jason's words echoed louder than they had in real time. Since you clearly can't, no diapers, no college, just profit, huh? I didn't cry, I just felt hollow. Not because I was surprised, but because I wasn't. Jason had always found a way to make digs at me. When I won the science fair in 7th grade, he told everyone I cheated with a kit. When I got into MIT, he told people it was only because I was a girl and they needed diversity numbers. And when I launched Fertisence, he snorted and said, "So you're monetizing pity now?" But that night in front of everyone, he didn't just undermine my work, he dehumanized it, me. David knocked lightly on the bedroom doorframe. He'd already showered and was dressed, coffee in hand. "Hey," he said gently, "how are you feeling?" "I want to look into him," I said. David blinked. "Jason?" I nodded. "I think he's hiding something." The way he postured last night, talking about business, about investments, acting like he's some successful founder. It didn't feel real. And Rachel said something last month that didn't sit right with me. She mentioned he was pitching some coaching app idea to your Uncle Joe, David recalled. Said it was already funded, but wasn't he asking your parents for money 2 months ago? Exactly. I sat up straighter. I don't care about the joke anymore. Not really. I care that he's a liar. And I've got a feeling he's using the family to fund his fantasy. I spent the next few hours on my laptop. First stop, I searched for the so-called startup Jason had supposedly launched. Something called Mindset Works, an online coaching hub for creatives and entrepreneurs. The website looked slick, lots of stock images of people staring into the sunset, motivational quotes in bold fonts, and fake testimonials from names I couldn't find anywhere else. But the founder bio hit me like a slap. Jason had listed himself as a former executive strategy consultant at Google. That was a lie. Jason never worked at Google. He once did 2 weeks of customer support training for a subcontractor that handled ad accounts. He got fired before he even completed onboarding. The rest of the site was fluff, no registered business address, no legal disclaimers. The terms of service was copied word for word from Shopify's boilerplate. I ran the text through plagiarism software just to confirm it. Then I called Rachel. "Hey," I said when she picked up. "Did Jason ever show you a pitch deck?" She sighed. "Yes, it was awful, full of spelling errors. He told me not to tell you about it because, quote, you'd rip it apart like a psycho investor." I smiled without humor. "He's not wrong. You still have it." She did, and she sent it. It was even worse than I expected. Slide 3 read, "Our AI-powered course modules guarantee success in 60 days. No technical explanation, no financials, just motivational buzzwords." It looked like it was thrown together in Canva during a hangover. Still, I wasn't done. I texted Marcus, a friend of mine who runs security audits for fintech companies. I'd once helped him catch a copycat using stolen branding from his client. In return, he owed me a favor. "Can you trace a transaction path if I give you the account where a payment was sent?" "Yep," he replied. "What are we dealing with? Family clown, possibly fraud." An hour later, he confirmed the worst. Jason had listed payment options for Mindset Works through a PayPal business account, but the withdrawals didn't go to vendors or ad platforms. They were routed directly to his personal checking account, then funneled out to multiple Cash App transfers. "Oh," Marcus added, "and 3 separate withdrawals to a DraftKings account. Same name, same email. How much?" "Looks like about $26,000 over 5 months. I sat back, stunned. Jason was borrowing money from our parents, pitching our uncle with a fake resume, and using it all to gamble under the table. And here I was planning to hand him 10 grand as a gift. No strings, just thanks. I scrolled through my phone photos until I found a shot I'd taken of the gold-wrapped envelopes, all lined up on my desk. One for Mom, one for Dad, one for Rachel, Uncle Joe, Aunt Meredith, my cousins. Each carefully written in black ink. But Jason's name? That envelope was never written. Even before his joke, something in me must have known. The next day, I got a message from Rachel. "You're not gonna believe what Haley posted." I opened TikTok. Haley sat at a cafe table with a latte, spinning her sunglasses in slow motion while Jason stood blurry in the background, pretending to take a business call. The caption, "You don't need to be a CEO to have real influence. Sometimes real leadership is just knowing who you are, not building empires for strangers." In the comments, "Is this about Claire? Wait, are you shading your sister-in-law? Not Haley coming for the fertility queen." Haley hadn't replied, but she'd liked every single comment. It was a stunt, a passive-aggressive dig. Jason didn't just want to embarrass me, he wanted to replace me in the eyes of the family, and he used his girlfriend's clout chasing to help pave the way. I didn't reply to the TikTok, not publicly. I just texted Rachel, "Don't comment, let her hang herself." Then I got to work. That evening, David found me sitting at the kitchen island with all 12 gold-wrapped envelopes spread in a neat line. One by one, I opened each, took out the check, replaced it with a note. Simple, clear, "This is not about money, this is about belief. I believe in you." Each signature in black ink. Each note from the heart. Except one. Jason's name had never been written, and now it never would be. The group chat that usually buzzed post-Thanksgiving was dead silent. No meme from Uncle Joe, no leftover pie photos from Aaron, not even a passive-aggressive reaction from my mom. Rachel finally broke the silence on Saturday. Rachel, everyone's acting like nothing happened. But Mom's been weird, like overcompensating weird. She asked if I wanted her cranberry chutney recipe 3 times. I think she's trying to guilt you into showing up tomorrow. Me, I'm coming. Rachel, you sure? Haley's been hinting it's her turn to give a toast. She called the group thread Sunday Gratitude Round 2, with sparkles. I stared at that message for a long time, then I replied, me, perfect, bring wine. Sunday arrived gray and sharp. David drove while I reviewed the file again on my iPad. Jason's fake pitch deck, the DraftKings transfers. Screenshots of him asking Mom for emergency startup capital. Still sure about this? David asked gently. I'm not burning him, I said. I'm just pulling back the curtain. If he wants to perform, let's give him a spotlight. At Meredith and Joe's, things looked normal, too normal. Haley greeted us in a cream turtleneck and fake sincerity. Claire, you came. How brave, brave. I smiled. Why wouldn't I? Family first, right? Inside, Jason was already at the center of the living room, telling Joe about phase 2 of his business. I watched Joe nod politely, then glance toward me. His eyes held a question. I didn't answer. Not yet. Dinner was smaller, fewer guests, tighter energy. Meredith made butternut squash lasagna. David raved about it, bless him. When the plates cleared, Haley stood up, tapping her glass. I just want to say how grateful we are to be part of this inspiring family, especially being surrounded by such powerful women. Her eyes landed on me, brief, smug. Then Jason rose. Actually, I wanted to share something too, he said. No, not yet. Before you do, I said, standing, calm. I have something for everyone. I pulled the leather folio from my bag. Jason's face twitched, just slightly. Don't worry, Jason, I said. You won't need one. Silence fell. Forks stilled. Aunt Meredith looked at me, confused. I started handing out the envelopes, one by one, smiling at each relative, touching their hand. Rachel opened hers first. She blinked, then covered her mouth. Claire. Jason took a step forward. What is this? I turned to him. It's what I was going to give everyone on Thursday, before you reminded me who you really are. His eyes narrowed. You can't be serious. Deadly. I sat down, sipped my water, waited. The room didn't move. Not yet. It started unraveling before dessert. Uncle Joe was the first to break the quiet. He leaned forward with his envelope still open on his lap, eyebrows furrowed. Claire, this is generous beyond anything I've ever bridey. Is this real? I nodded. Fully funded. I set aside $80,000 for family ventures. I wanted to keep it quiet until I could explain it properly. Jason scoffed. Wow, must be nice to throw cash around for attention. David's voice cut through the air. You mean like the way you begged your parents for money last month for a pitch video? Jason stiffened. That's not your business. But it is mine, I said evenly. Especially since you used my name in your deck to Uncle Joe. Joe turned, sharply. You what? Jason blinked. It was an example, a placeholder. You called her an advisory board member and said Google trained you as an enterprise strategist, Joe said, flipping open his phone. Claire, is that true? No, I said. Jason's never worked for Google. He got fired from a third-party agency after 2 weeks. I confirmed it. Jason's jaw twitched. You've been spying on me. I've been vetting a fraud before he could hurt our family more than he already has. Gasps, literal gasps around the table. Rachel held up her phone. I have the pitch deck. Slide 3 says their AI can guarantee financial freedom in 60 days. Aunt Meredith's eyes widened. Jason, and he's been laundering all of it through PayPal into his DraftKings account. I finished. Over $26,000 lost in 5 months. The coaching site is fake. The testimonials are AI generated. The terms of service are plagiarized. The only thing real is the hole he's dug. Jason stepped back like he'd been slapped. Haley tried to break the tension. Okay, well, who hasn't dabbled in crypto and self-growth lately? It's not that serious. No, Joe said, his voice low and final. This was calculated. Jason pitched me on Thanksgiving morning, said Claire would match any investment I made. Oh my God, my mom whispered. Jason pointed at me. She's doing this because I made a joke. No, I said. You did this to yourself. The joke just made it easier to stop protecting you. A long pause, the kind that swallows an entire room. Then Rachel reached into her purse, pulled out her envelope and slid it toward Jason. You know what? I was gonna use this for my store's deposit, but take it, since you're so allergic to earning anything yourself. Jason's face turned red. You're all insane, he snapped. She's manipulating you, making me look like a villain so she can play Queen Bee. She didn't have to, Joe said. You did that all by yourself. Haley grabbed her purse. We're leaving. No one stopped them. Jason shoved his chair back so hard it scraped the floor. You think this is over? You want to humiliate me in front of everyone? Fine, I hope your empire of pity crumbles. I let him go. No one said goodbye. Later, in the kitchen, Meredith pressed a piece of pie into my hand. Not that I'm keeping score, she said gently, but this is the best thing to happen at Thanksgiving since Grandpa fell into the punch bowl. I laughed finally. David walked in and kissed my temple. You okay? I'm not sad, I said surprised. I thought I would be. You grieved him a long time ago, he said. This was just the eulogy. I looked out the window. Rachel was in the yard talking to Joe, both of them smiling, her envelope back in hand. My family wasn't perfect, but at least now it was honest. Jason didn't go down quietly. For the first week after the confrontation, he sent everyone in the family a rambling email trying to clarify things. He blamed Haley, blamed the stress of the holidays, even hinted that I'd sabotaged him out of jealousy, but no one bought it. Not this time. Rachel forwarded me a text from Mom that just said, "We don't know who Jason's become anymore." Dad didn't say much, but when I called to check in, his voice cracked when he said, "I'm sorry we ever gave him money, we should have seen it." Uncle Joe, for his part, replied with brutal precision, "If he ever contacts me again, I'll forward it to my attorney." 3 days later, Haley broke up with Jason. She posted a heavily filtered selfie with the caption, "Reputation is everything, protect your peace." Jason tried commenting. She blocked him. The Mindset Works site vanished. 404 error. Social accounts deleted. No more GoFundMe links. No more fake testimonials, just vapor. For once he couldn't talk his way out. And honestly, I didn't feel triumphant. Just quiet. Like I'd put something heavy down for good. At New Year's brunch we met again, just the core of the family. Jason wasn't invited. No one said it out loud, but it was understood. I handed out the envelopes I'd meant to give on Thanksgiving. One by one, Rachel cried when she opened hers. Uncle Joe gave me a stunned look and just whispered, "You believed in us more than we did." And my parents, they didn't say anything at first, just hugged me long and tight. Later, my mom slipped a folded note into my coat pocket. "We see you, Claire, we're so proud, and we're sorry we didn't protect you better." I kept it in my wallet. A few weeks later, David and I sat in a warm office with pale wood walls and calming music humming from the ceiling speakers. Across from us, a woman with soft curls and a clipboard smiled gently. "We've reviewed your file," she said, "and your medical clearances are all in. Everything's in place. The transfer can begin next month." David reached over and took my hand. I didn't feel fear or grief, just readiness. The coordinator handed us a folder, the surrogate's profile. Her photo radiated calm and something even rarer, hope. Before we stood to leave, the woman asked, "Claire, would you like to say anything before we begin?" I looked at David, then at the folder in my hands, and I smiled. "Let's build something new."